All right, guys, stick with me because I'm going to tell you about a super undervalued asset class in residential real estate and how you can get into a rental property for $3,000 in a way that survey says 67% of people aren't even interested in. Check it out. Do you want to know how you can get a rental property for $3,000? In this video, I'm going to tell you one of the most undervalued asset classes in residential real estate and how you can participate in it. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel so that way you can get more great content like this. Ping the bell. We're going to talk about mother-in-law's quarters and the value that they bring to a rental. Why are mother-in-law's quarters valuable? A National Association of Realtors survey showed that 33% of people would pay $3,000 more to purchase a home that had independent living suite. So think about this the other way. That means that almost 70% of people won't pay for additional living space, and those that will only pay an additional $3,000. This has been a huge boom for me because I currently have 10 properties with additional living quarters, and all but one of them, the price I paid for the property was the price that the house would have been valued at without the additional living space. So it's basically like I have a free rental on every one of those houses because I have the main living space rented out and I also have the additional living space rented out, but I only paid the price for the main house because they're extremely undervalued. How did it get to be like this? So right now I'm in Pensacola, Florida, where I have an Airbnb. You can check out the link down below if you'd like to stay here in the beautiful East Hill neighborhood. Quirky, fun, cool, and great places to eat and drink. But the price I paid for the house with the Airbnb was basically what the house would have been worth, not valuing the additional income from the Airbnb. Now people have started to catch on here, places like Pensacola, Destin, big cities. They started to figure out the value of the additional living quarters, and a lot of times those are priced into sale prices. Now that everybody's doing Airbnb and places where people like to visit, the Airbnbs are pretty popular. However, mother-in-law's quarters were really popular in the 70s, and they went kind of out of vogue for a while, and now properties are starting to have multi-generational units built in a lot of even nicer areas. People are building those into their places. But in a lot of cash flowing markets, those houses from the 70s with the older additional living units are still selling at prices that don't value the rental income of the additional living unit appropriately, and so you can find super undervalued deals. How does this look? So let's say you have a house that has a detached mother-in-law suite. So the mother-in-law suite or the additional living quarters need to be truly independent. So they need to have a bathroom, kitchen, and a living space. But a lot of times they'll just be a studio or a one-bedroom that's attached from the main house. So the house will sell based on comps, based on rent prices, but most of the time it won't factor in that additional living space, since only 33% of people would only pay $3,000 more for the additional living space. So you're able to purchase the house at a fair price for the house, get it rented out, and then when you get the additional living space rented out, it's basically like free money. Or in a place like East Hill here that's close to the beach, you're then able to rent out the main house on a long-term rental or a long-term lease, and then you can use the additional living space for Airbnb that's going to fluctuate based on season. Obviously it's going to peak during the summer, peak vacation seasons, and then it's going to go down in the winter. But a lot of times during the colder seasons you can discount the price and get longer term stays, things like that. Even so, a lot of times places here where vacation rentals are popular, the additional living space, although it will be priced into the sale price a little bit, it won't really reach its full value. So for example, the additional living space I have at my house here in Pensacola, during peak seasons, I'll get over twice the rental income on the apartment than I get on the house that's on the long-term contract. However, during the winter, a lot of times it'll be a fraction of the rents that I get on the main house. So since the income's not super durable, a lot of times the house isn't going to appraise out with the rental income, and so people can't get the loan that would factor in the income produced by the rental unit, and so that's going to drive the price down a little bit, just based on the fact that people can't get it financed for a price that would take into consideration all of the rental income on the additional space. So anyhow, that's the big things you need to know about a very undervalued asset class, the additional living unit, how you can capitalize on it, and some of the things to think about when you're pricing it out.